Welcome to the off ramp, guys. I am Thomas Jason Anderson. Yeah, we're going to talk about race, racism in America, the system of race, racism within the system, or the system overall, and race within it, and how that fits in. But I wanted to start with, I put in the title of this, intentions matter. And what do I mean by that? Intentions for me usually don't matter, by the way. I don't like intentions because it's not really what you intend to do, it's what you've done, right? But in sometimes intentions do matter. And in this case, when it comes to race, um, and when minority groups are engaged by the majority, intentions matter a lot, right? And I'll give you an example, a few personal examples, but one I've experienced with the nation of Guyana. You know, being an American who grew up in Miami, I grew up with a lot of people from the nation of Guyana who are here, diaspora expats. I have close family friends who are going back to when I was a child, who are from Guyana, and one thing I've noticed that, yes, I stand out a little bit because, I'm an American and talking about the stuff I'm talking about with Guyana, it's pretty deep in there politically. But like I said before, I have been involved since 2009. But the bigger thing is this: the entire time I have been involved with the people of Guyana, I have been involved in a way where my intentions have been pure. I've never come with like an open hand asking for, like, a bunch of cash, bribe me. It's never happened. My intentions have always been pure. My intentions have always been to try to bring some transparency, not only to Guyana, but to the region. And that's important. And it's important for me because it's my career. I'm all about transparency, but I knew a long time ago that the Caribbean would be important to America's future, and the Caribbean is important to everyone's future in the Caribbean. So um, I just knew that being living and growing up in this region, that I needed to take my skills and use them pro bono, right? Just to help maybe start some good conversations and just keep a good eye out for some of the really bad characters here in the United States who come to a nation like Guyana with bad intentions. They do. And the people of Guyana can tell. Now, a lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people tell me I don't have any business talking about what I talk about. I understand. But at the end of the day, everyone can tell my intentions are pure. I am not my intentions aren't to exploit, they aren't to destroy, they are not to hurt. They are to help. They are to bring transparency. Now, sometimes that does hurt, bringing transparency. I understand that, but it's a good pain. It's not a bad pain. All right. That we have to make a difference. We need to start anyone who's been supporting this, just so you know, there is good pain and bad pain, especially when we're talking about government. All right. The government needs to feel pain sometimes. I'm just letting you guys know that it ain't bad. All right. It ain't bad all the time. So, and I have no problem inflicting a little bit, right? Because, it has to happen. I'm not trying to hurt anyone, but like, transparency is needed. And sometimes it will hurt people in the government. I'm sorry that that's the case, but it is what it is. Right. And so I've just learned that, approaching the folks in Linden and Region 10 and whatnot, I've always come with the right intentions, right? I've tried my best to do the best to align with those intentions. And I think the people have received me that way. Um, it's not easy because that's an environment in Guyana. There's a lot of propaganda, so it's really hard to break through. Even if you have pure intentions, it's still very hard to break through because so many people who do have good intentions go the wrong way anyway. So even if people believe that I have good intentions, can they trust me? And I think that's where things are sort of on the line. And in Guyana, they have to see it to believe it, man. They don't really trust anybody, to tell you the truth. So you're gonna have to really bleed for the cause before you're gonna have to earn that trust, man. And I haven't gotten there, I understand. Uh, but my intentions are right. And I think that's what has allowed me to have a pretty good audience from Guyana, I think. I have so much respect for the people of Guyana, and I know people understand that and they can feel that. Um, but when it comes, and here's how I learned this. Okay, I learned it because of racism in America. I grew up in South Florida. So I was born in the late '70s, and I grew up in s- in South Florida in the period where we had the Mariel boat lift. We had a lot of Haitian migrants, Jamaican migrants. It was a very whew, very crazy time, and in the midst of that, there was the crack epidemic. So, people have seen movies like Scarface. That was more like a documentary of like how we used to live. Murder was pretty normal, just is what it is. Um, Violence was very normal. I don't know. I know I saw a lot of shootings in school and a lot of attacks. And one of the main ones was, putting the locker lock inside of a sock and using it to crack skulls. Um, but we even had people in middle school drunk. I remember my last day of middle school. I'm sorry for laughing because it's actually a horrible thing, but I laugh because I'm just like, I can't believe something like this actually happened. But I remember my last day, our principal was ended up getting beaten over the head. The resource officer's police car had his window shield smashed in because he was body slammed through the window shield. And both the resource officer and the principal were handcuffed to the flagpole while a bunch of people just tore the school up. So that's the type of environment that I grew up in. Um, it was real rough. And for those of you from Miami who are watching, my friends, everybody knows, man, down there on 22nd Ave, Westview, West Little River, River City up there in Carroll City, Gould's, Triangle Park, Little Haiti. I've lived in all these places, and everybody who knows me knows. But it was rough back then. And what was interesting from my perspective, I had a little different perspective than most because my mother was white and just no one else had a white mom. It just didn't happen. I can't remember another person with a white mom. There was one, my best friend in elementary school, a kid named Jeremy. He was a white kid and his mom was white and he lived with his stepdad in our neighborhood. So he was, but his father was white. So he was just a white boy. And so I was friends with him. But I ended up being friends with mostly Haitians and Jamaicans, Nicaraguans, of course, black people too, right? Everybody in my neighborhood. But in school, I had a lot of Haitian friends and stuff because I was really poor and my mom was white. So I kind of stood out a little bit. And so I kind of fit in more with the immigrants because back then, man, the Haitians had it hard. People look at the Zopound now, they're tough. There's a gang and there's tough guys in the streets. But when the Haitians were first coming over, like they were really, I don't think they were prepared for just how rough the streets of Miami were because a lot of the kids that we were meeting back then, they were actually pretty educated. They were really smart. Um, they were so kind-hearted and nice. Like it was we were surprised a little bit as kids back then that the Haitian kids were just so meek and respectful and kind that we they were just they were really bullied. It was bad. And so I was friends with them all the time. For some reason I never got bullied. I don't know why. I just never did. But with that said, my mom never had problems either. She was white. As a matter of fact, we had a time, like a thing around the Mariel boat lift time when we were pretty well off and we lived in a white neighborhood in Miami. And they burned a cross in our yard. When I would walk to school, one of the neighbors would have his gate open and he had a huge gray pit bull. And then another girl who lived down the street was always like trying to get me in the corner and lifting up her skirt. So that's what was happening in the white community. And it was just so bad that we had to leave. And when we lived in black communities, even though my mom was white, we never had a problem. And even though the communities we lived in, like I said, West Little River, um, Westview, River City within Carroll City. Everybody knows Carroll City was something, but River City within Carroll City, ask somebody about it. Ask somebody. Down in Gould's and Triangle Park, used to stay across the street from Chocolate City and Gould's. Ask somebody about it. Um, and all that time with a white mom who always had friends in the community, who never had a problem. And I finally figured out as I got older why she never had a problem. And my mom never had a problem because of her intentions. She was pure of heart, and she really loved everybody in the community. It didn't matter what skin color you were. And so the love came back to her. And so I picked that up from her. And it also taught me something about racism in America and racists, right? So there are a lot of people out here, racist white people like Nick Fuentes in the political space, who says he never wants to live with black people, that it would be a nightmare for him because they would rob him and beat him up and hurt him. Well, he sees it that way, and he may be correct. That could happen to him. And here's the reason why that could happen to him: because of his intentions. You know, black people, we have lived under so much exploitation for so long, generationally, that we know when you're not coming with the right intentions, we can feel it. And yeah, we're going to push back hard. So I think there's this little hidden secret in American society where so many white people believe that it's dangerous for them to be in black communities because it's violent and this and that. Well, if your intentions are bad, yeah, it could be real bad for you. But if your intentions are correct, you will be probably more safe in any black community around America than your average place, wherever you would go, some tourist location somewhere. You'd be more safe in the average city in Atlanta than you would be, I think, in Orlando as a white person, in my opinion, if your intentions are right. And so I think that discussion never comes up where people like Nick Fuentes, who know that he will be met with anger and fury, he blames it on black people that we are the ones mad at him for no reason. No, we know his intentions. He knows his intentions. So yeah, he's going to be met with a lot of pushback. Yeah, he will not be safe in any black community, but that's on him. It's not because black people hate white people. How do I know? Because my mom, a white woman, lived in a black community in some of the worst, poorest, black, most violent black communities in Miami for most of her life and never once even came close to having a problem. Even close. Not an argument, not a fight, not even a bad word. The worst thing they could say about my mom was my mom was from a German family. And she would, we didn't have cell phones back then. So, my God, she would come out of the front door. And if I'd be playing like, Nintendo at a friend's house, like a block away, she would just scream my name, like first, middle, and last name, and be like, come home and clean the kitchen right now. And I would be able to hear her a block away inside of a bedroom. And I'd have to run home and go clean, right? The worst complaint was, man, why is she always yelling? That was my fault, guys. I'm sorry, my past neighbor. She was always yelling because I always had chores to do and I was always sneaking out. And so she would yell. That was on me, guys. That was not her. But that was the only complaint, and that was my fault. But other than that, that's how I know, right? And people, I'm sharing this because I think there are a lot of white people out here who are not racist, but they just don't know any better. They're not sure. And I'm telling you, you're fine in black communities. Okay. And what do I mean by that? I'm not talking about come hang out in the streets. Like, we don't even do that. Don't come hanging around in the streets. That's stupid. I'm talking about buy a house, buy a home, buy a business, become a part of the community. I promise you, you will be more than welcomed, even in the worst communities. Now, who has problems? If people complain, oh, the Koreans are always having problems. Well, they're coming into our communities, exploiting our communities with their stores. No, they're not. No, yes, they are. That's why they have problems. But if a Korean person were to go in LA and buy a house, unless you're in one of these neighborhoods where it's a gang problem with the Mexicans, you're fine. You're gonna be fine. The Crips in them, they're not gonna bother you in Los Angeles. They're going to welcome you. That's the black community. And I feel like we've been getting a really bad rap when we are the most welcoming community in America. America's a rough place, guys. It's a real rough place. But in this rough place, black communities are places of love. And we get the image pushed out that we're the places of violence. Not true. Oh, look at the numbers, look at the statistics. Okay, you can look at your numbers and statistics, but I can also say this, right? I can also say this. There's a lot of violence that's happening in white communities that isn't in the numbers and statistics that the mainstream media likes to point to. Violent crime, right? So for the mainstream media, they don't consider incest rape as violent crime. They don't. You never see that in any statistic. And yet, if you look at who's doing that, just take a look. This is not in the black communities. It is not. Another one, DUI. Just take a look. It ain't the black communities, guys. I could go on and on. Domestic violence. I could just go on and on and on and on. Okay. There are different types of violence that happen in white communities. And don't lie and pretend it doesn't happen, man. Y'all are good at keeping it on the down low. How do I know? My mom's white. I have a white family. Trust me when I tell you, the white culture is very good at hiding their misdeeds, at hiding their blemishes. You will never see in any statistics for violence in the country, you're never going to see anything about incest or rape of family member. You're never going to see it. And yet, guess what? Even though it's not happening as much as like people having their purses stolen from them, every time it does happen, the impact is just mind blowing. And so the crimes that impact people the most for the longest, that have an impact on generations, on multiple people, right? Those aren't even counted as statistics. Instead, they want to talk. The main statistics are the stuff that you will find in the black community. So the idea out here is, oh, it's only violent in the black community. No, it's just different kind of crime. But there's crime happening everywhere, and the just counting the number of incidences is not a good measurement of what kind of crime is going on. Purses being stolen versus retirement accounts being stolen, big difference. Yeah, they're both crimes one on one, but think about what one does and what the other one does. We don't even talk about that. So the same discussion I'm having now on the race thing, intentions matter. What are your intentions, right? It matters, especially when you're an outsider and you're trying to come into a community who has been for a long time tight knit. Intentions matter, especially communities who have been abused for generations, like the people of Guyana. Intentions matter. So I want to just reiterate to you guys, my intentions are pure with Guyana. 100% transparency here. I'm trying to offer transparency. I'm trying to offer some better conversations on some of the issues that we're all facing as a region, because I believe these conversations will make a difference over time. It will change the discussion. It will change the plane, the trajectory that we're on, because I think we could be on a better one. And that's what these discussions are all about. So thanks for your time. Thanks for the support. All of your likes and shares are really appreciated, guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you again soon.
Now I'ma put it down like that. I'm leaving, I ain't coming back. You don't like the way I act anyway. You really don't have to react. Don't try to change my mind, in fact. Honey, I've already packed all my stuff. We're no longer kids, let's move on. And you are not my kid, so I'm done. Please don't make me pull my gun. Sorry boy, I can't be the one. You know it, yeah. Nothing lasts forever. You know that a change will make it better. You know that nothing lasts forever. You know that, yeah, change will make it better. There's no one to blame, you see. Maybe we're not meant to be. There are plenty more fish in the sea anyway. Every day's a different thing, so I'm not into wedding rings. It ain't personal, it's the way I think. Yeah. You know it, nothing lasts forever. And you know